TVs, shopping trolleys, beds, mattresses, even a gun. That's just some of the rubbish found by residents surrounding Christchurch's residential red zone. The area used to be filled with houses, but damage after the Canterbury earthquakes forced thousands of homes to be demolished. While many of the old suburban roads remain, the area now resembles a park. But it's now attracting those wanting to dump their rubbish for free. And Land Information New Zealand, which controls the land, has removed 25 tonnes of trash since January. Residents have had enough as well, with taking matters into their own hands. Our reporter Logan Church has the story.
The Christchurch residential red zone is peaceful. Ducks meandering up the stream, runners taking advantage of the empty roads. But it's what's often left at the side of these roads that's got some residents here frustrated, including David of Richmond.
Yeah, you get anything from bags of clothing or rubbish to bits and pieces that could actually be recycled or given away on the free pages or taken to the eco store. Yeah, it's just crazy amount of stuff that could probably actually be repurposed.
David is one of many residents whose homes back onto the red zone, which is owned by Land Information New Zealand, or LINZ. And they get a front row seat of people who treat it like their personal dumping ground. Patrick Bolland is another resident who's had enough. He lives in Dallington by the Avon River.
A lot of it is actually what we call fly tipping from people who perhaps are moving out of a flat or a house and can't dump. Some of them are quite ingenious. They will actually have like a flatbed truck, and what they do is they'll have a tarpaulin and then a rope, and they'll tie it to one of the fence posts in the red zone and then just take off, which dumps the entire contents of the ute, and they can just keep driving. So it can all be done in 1 or 2 minutes.
Patrick and some other homeowners nearby have even started walking the areas at night to try and deter people from dumping stuff there.
We've got 4 or 5 people around the suburb, all who have we've got a common aim, and that is the fact that we're trying to make up for the fact that we don't have all the neighbours anymore that we used to have. So we make a bit more of an effort if we hear anything out on the road, anything that's doesn't sound, sounds out of the ordinary, that we've make an effort to grab our phones and go outside.
Avon or Takuro Network spokesperson Evan Smurf says a reason why people leave rubbish here could be the cost of taking it to a tip. The minimum charge for household waste is $10, then it's almost $300 a tonne. But he says that's not an excuse for dumping it on public land.
There's all manner of things, anything that people are too lazy to take to the dump, basically household items from TVs, shopping trolleys, beds, mattresses, you name it, it's being found there. Some quite unusual objects as well. Even when we did the Motherville cleanups last year or the year before, we found a rifle and binoculars and all sorts of things tossed at the riverside.
Meanwhile, at Edlund's headquarters in central Christchurch, Land and Property Manager Matt Bradley says all the rubbish found quickly adds up, but fencing installed in 2017 is helping.
This year we've got approximately 24 tonnes worth of material that were removed. And it kind of goes up and down somewhat depending on the seasons, but yeah, that's what we've picked up so far this year. It's slightly up from last year, but what we did in 2017, we've fenced off a lot of the red zone, so it actually has reduced our dumping considerably. We were sort of paying over $200,000 a year previously, whereas we're right down to sort of 15 to 20 at the moment.
Security and maintenance contractors help keep an eye on the red zone as well as LINZ staff. But Mr Bradley says it is sometimes challenging to catch the dumpers.
Look, to be fair, it is pretty tough in terms of catching culprits, and that's sort of something that's consistent across land and property management across New Zealand or any state really. Unless you can catch someone actually physically doing it, or if they've got their details in it, it can be very challenging to actually catch those people. So on a few occasions we've been able to identify the likely people, and they've come back and we've followed up and they've removed those items.
He says if anyone catches someone dumping rubbish, they should get in touch. In Christchurch for Checkpoint, Logan Church.